Dear friends, let me tell you a wonderful tale today. In the kingdom of Springfield, there lived a small and happy family. Sam, Sally, and their loving parents. Their home was always filled with laughter, cozy dinners, and the occasional visits from their grandparents. The children loved exploring the nearby jungle, though their father always reminded them, the forest is magical, but it can be tricky for little feet. Stay on the path. One day, a messenger arrived with troubling news: their beloved grandmother had fallen ill. Their parents had to leave immediately to tend to her and instructed Sam and Sally to stay home, lock the doors, and take care of each other. They agreed, but as night fell, Sally grew increasingly anxious. She adored her grandmother and couldn't bear the thought of being away at this time of need. "We should go to Grandma's house," she whispered to Sam. Sam hesitated, but Mom and Dad said to stay put, and it's a long way through the forest. After much pleading, Sally convinced Sam to come along, and together they ventured into the jungle. At first, the walk was peaceful, but soon, hours passed, and they saw no sign of their grandparents' home. Hunger gnawed at their stomachs, exhaustion weighed them down, and worst of all, fear began to creep in. "I told you this was a bad idea," Sam huffed. "We're lost." Sally felt guilty but was too scared to argue. They decided to turn back. But just as they started retracing their steps, they stumbled upon a grand house made entirely of cake. It looked like a tiny castle, covered in soft pink, purple, and white frosting. "Do you think it's real?" Sam asked, eyes wide. "Only one way to find out," Sally replied, dipping a cautious finger into a swirl of cream. Her face lit up. "It's delicious." Excitedly, they began tasting different parts of the house, breaking off chunks of cake, giggling as they smeared frosting on each other's faces, but their joy was short-lived. A hideous old woman with twisted gray hair and a crooked stick stomped out. "You little brats have ruined my home," she shrieked. "You'll pay for this." The children gasped in terror. "We're sorry," Sally cried. "We didn't know till late." The old woman grabbed them and dragged them inside, binding them in chains. "You'll pay for this," the children gasped in terror. "We're sorry," Sally cried. "We didn't know, too late." The old woman grabbed and dragged them inside, binding them in chains. "You're my captives now." That night, Sam and Sally huddled together, crying in fear. Meanwhile, their parents had returned home only to find the house empty. Panic set in, and they alerted the village. Search parties were sent out, desperate to find the lost children. Days turned into weeks, and the siblings remained trapped in the witch's house. She forced them to do chores and punished them harshly for any mistake. Every attempt to escape only made her angrier. They had almost given up hope. Then, one fateful evening, the witch hosted a gathering for her fellow witches. As she busied herself preparing a great cauldron of frog soup, she finally unchained Sam and Sally to help. This was their chance. Sally pretended to stir the bubbling pot, keeping the witch distracted. When the old woman leaned in to check the soup, Sam and Sally seized their moment, grabbing her legs. They heaved her into the boiling cauldron. She let out a horrifying shriek before disappearing beneath the bubbling brew. Wasting no time, the children ran. A little way ahead, they spotted police. Weak and trembling, they collapsed before them. The guards recognized them instantly. "We've been searching for you," they exclaimed, taking them safely home. Their parents, overwhelmed with relief and joy, embraced them tightly. The children told their incredible tale, but when others returned to the forest, the cake house had vanished without a trace. Though no evidence remained, Sam and Sally knew the truth: Springfield's jungle was indeed magical, and sometimes that magic could be dangerous.